Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about Mars sextile or trine Pluto in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in the natal chart. They're a little bit concise. Some people may refer to them as snappy, so what I decided to do was make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, well, if you have Mars sextile or trine Pluto in a natal chart, you may easily find the energy and enthusiasm, which is Mars, for the activities you have a passion and desire for, which is Pluto. Now, I mean, naturally, the things you have a passion and desire for, you could be enthusiastic about, but it could be more emphasized with these aspects as opposed to most others. Now, if, let's say, you have Pluto in Virgo, in the fifth house as an example, those things you have a passion and desire for may be analytical amusement and enjoyment. It could be extrapolating, sports data. The fifth house has a connection with sports. Virgo is about statistics. And the thing is, I have Pluto, I have Mars sextile my Pluto in the natal chart, so I understand a little bit about this energy. And the thing about these aspects too is that the aspect, or these aspects I should say, can be auspicious for a controlling, which is Pluto, anger, which is Mars. If you have Mars in the zodiac sign Cancer as an example, there may be anger that may often be directed at home and family members, but there may be a greater ability, to control it, if you have, Pluto sextile Mars in your natal chart. Now, also to any, at least most disputes or battles, which is Mars, that may involve intimate connections, which is Pluto, can often be, constructive and not, acrimonious or acerbic. They may often be resolved, diplomatically, or the arguments themselves may be, more constructive, not as much yelling, just more about, constructive disagreements. Because, of course, there are ways of, disagreeing without being disputatious. Now, the thing about these, let's say, if Mars is in Sagittarius as an example, arguments and disputes may be tied in with, philosophies or beliefs, sports, religion, as some examples. Now, also, too, these aspects can be favorable for surgery, which is Mars, associated with the colon, prostate, bladder, urinary tract, or reproductive system, which is Pluto. If Mars is in Capricorn as an example, those surgeries may be well planned, premeditated. It could also be positive for getting, very beneficial for getting, support, such as loans, which is Pluto for surgery, again, which is Mars as well. If Pluto is in the fourth house, it could be, loans may come from home, family members. If you have Pluto in the third house is another example. There may be support or loans that are coming from, siblings, cousins, neighbors, as some examples. Now, also, too, if there's any issues, associated with the head, the skull, the face, sexual organs, which is Mars, it's less likely, to have, an adverse effect on Pluto-related matters. And that, of course, can cover a wide divergence of things, Pluto-related matters. It could be doing things associated with insurance or taxes, recycling, transformation, deep research, maybe something with the occult, which includes astrology. And the thing about this, there's, let's say, Mars and Taurus as an example, those issues that I just described that are anatomically connected with Mars, maybe more stubborn or persistent and enduring, as an example. And Another thing about Mars sextile or trine Pluto in a natal chart, it could also manifest in having being positive, for having the physical strength, which is Mars, and the vitality as well, which is Mars, to make a major change or transformation, which is Pluto. Now, let's say if Pluto is in the first house, that major change or transformation may be associated with the physical body or one's appearance. Pluto in the second house may be making a major change in one's self-worth, or it could be a monetary, financial situation, matters with possessions, their values. As another example, Pluto in the seventh house may be changing one's relationships. Pluto in the 11th could be some major change or transformation connected with one's friends, goals, aspirations, and objectives, as another example. Now, another thing too is that you may readily find the passion and desire for the Pluto-related acquisition, or even the drive and motivation, I should say, which is Mars, for Pluto-related activities, without obsessing over them. Now, the thing is, Pluto-related activities can cover, many things, again, whether it's recycling or transformation or doing something with the occult, which includes astrology. The thing about, this is, if you have Pluto, the seventh house, those Pluto-related activities may be shared, with a significant other or marriage partner. It may involve a business partnership, as some examples. Now, also, too, there may be, speaking of drive and motivation, there may be little trouble, finding the drive, the motivation, the enthusiasm, which is Mars, for deep research and investigation, which is Pluto. Now, if, Pluto is in the fourth house, there may be deep research and investigation pertaining to one's roots, their ancestry, traditions. It could be home and family members. If you have Pluto in the 10th house as another example, deep research and investigation may be tied in with one's career, the business that the person is at. It could be, an authority figure, older people, the dominant parent, which is often the father, as some examples. And also, too, you may be able to keep, your actions, which is Mars, secretive, which is Pluto, when necessary. If you're a private person, especially. If you have, Mars and Scorpio as an example, those actions may be tied in with support or insurance related matters. It could be, wills or estates, something, associated with rebirth and regeneration, such as reviving a business, as some examples, or intimate connections. Now, another thing, too, is that these aspects can be propitious for bouncing back, from a physical injury, which is Mars. Now, since Pluto, is connected with rebirth and regeneration. Now, if Mars is in Gemini, as an example, physical-related injuries may be tied in with the arms, the hands. They may be nerve-related. As some examples, there may be issues with the lungs, with breathing, as some examples. And another thing, too, is that there may be little difficulty in terms of finding the courage and bravery and taking action, which is Mars, in crisis situations, which is Pluto. If Pluto is in the first house, as an example, it could be a crisis situation involving the physical body, or maybe a grandparent or someone that was prominent in your early childhood. Pluto in the 8th house, there could be a crisis situation, involving maybe there's something with a credit card issue, or credit card fraud, or insurance, or taxes, or something that involves a intimate relationship. It could be some issue, somebody prominent in a shared resource, or something that involves a shared resources situation, or a situation that involves support, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learn and saying, stay well.